Every single time I talk to this woman, I get motivated, excited, invigorated. I get ideas, I get inspired. That is why we have this wonderful guest on the show today. What's up, everybody? It's Amanda Sweet with the Let's Glow Show. Happy New Year. It's been a long time. We got a different background for today only, and I'll share why in a moment. But before we do that, welcome to the show, Lanasia. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. Tell everybody all of the beautiful titles you have because you are a wealth of a person through and through.
Yes, thank you so much. I am a life coach. I'm a certified life coach specializing in mindset transformation and transformational leadership. I do consulting work for companies and nonprofit organizations as well. I am also now I also have a podcast called Transform Your Life. My mission is, your transformation is an inside job. That's what I'm always helping people to do is really transform their lives from the inside out. I am an author of the Balance book, which is also a transformational coaching tool. And I really love people. I guess I'm a certified personal trainer as well. I'm always motivating women to get healthy, prioritize that health, get in the gym, take a walk, stretch, move your body because movement is medicine. And I'm from Detroit. I'm a woman of God. I'm a believer. I'm a disciple. I want people to know God and see his light through me in whatever way I can do that, even if it's just by saying good morning with a smile. That's a way to show people who God is. So I'm just happy to be here. East Side Detroit, Detroit through and through. I'm a D girl all day. Yeah, and I also have Life Coach University. I'm the founder of Life Coach University, which is a coaching school. I train and develop aspiring coaches, licensed therapists, and counselors. So, wow, I do a lot.
You do a lot. And when I first met you, you were doing a lot plus you were working a full-time job.
Yes, I was in corporate.
Like every single time we interact with each other, it's this like long, beautiful,
Yes.
in-depth conversation. We're talking about life. We have ideas. We're inspiring each other. And I'm so glad to have you on the show. And you said you're a Detroit girl through and through. And the reason why we have this weird, not weird, because this is a piece of art that Libri and I did together, but the reason why it's different is because Breezy and I moved to Detroit over the break.
Welcome. Welcome.
We're
Welcome
from,
home.
but we finally bought our first house. And I have to tell you, every single time I talk to you, you're always talking about like the other things that you do to make yourself financially stable. You were talking last time we talked, you were talking about your home, about renting rooms to like nurses, or you're talking about your car, and you're talking about all these other financial avenues. And I'm like, damn, Lanasia's got it figured out. Like, I need to get my life together. And I think that was like not many days before we got the accepted offer on the house.
Yeah.
I was like,
wow.
So talking to you, even at the beginning of your journey where you were like, I'm still working in corporate, I'm doing both. I'm just like, okay, if she can do it, I can do it.
I love that. I love that. I like to hear stories like that. Shout out to you. And I just want to commend you also. I mean, I've watched you blossom. And it's funny we're wearing our blossom hats, but I have watched you blossom tremendously since the day that I met you. It's just been an honor to know you. You literally always bring the joy, the energy, the positivity. Like being in your presence is always like beneficial for my life. There's never been a time I've left your presence and didn't feel better. So like anybody who comes in contact with you, I know that they're just tremendously blessed. So I'm happy to know you. I love you too.
Okay, let's get into it because you're a transformational life coach. You're writing books, you're coaching, you're teaching people. Transformational life coaching probably had to come from a transformation.
Absolutely. I was not always
the reason.
Yes. Yes. You said what was the reason? I was talking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. How did you get here? Like, why transformational life coaching?
Yeah. Honestly, like I tell people all the time, especially my students, like when I think about like helping someone to change and transform their lives, I'm eager to share it because I did these things myself. So when I'm talking about God, when I'm talking about fitness, and when I'm talking about mindset coaching, I talk about those three things so much because God, fitness, and transforming my perspective, shifting my mindset, those things changed everything about my life.
Mm.
I wake up and I'm like, I'm so grateful. I'm so happy with my life. I'm so at peace. I'm so emotionally stable. I have very healthy relationships in my life. I'm in good health. And
Yeah.
that's because I was tired. I was tired of being angry. I was tired of being broke. I was tired of not having the relationships that I wanted in my life. I was tired of being disobedient. I was tired of not liking my body. Like, I literally just got sick of me. And it didn't all happen at one time. It was
Yeah.
different stages in my life. I remember when I was in my early 20s. And I didn't, I moved away from home at 15. So I didn't have the support of my parents like I thought I should at that time. And I would always be so angry with them. And I remember one time I like had a setback financially. And my boyfriend at the time said to me, life is going to keep punching you in the face. Are you going to keep crying about it? Or are you going to do something about it? And at the time, I'm like crying even more because I'm like, you're
Cry.
supposed to like baby me and hug me and like say it's okay and then give me money. Like, you're not supposed to talk to me like that. But
Right.
I'm so grateful that he talked to me like that because, it's like you don't even know what greatness is inside of you until someone speaks to that version of you. And then that version gets an opportunity to respond.
Mhm.
And that's what happened for me. That greatness that had never been spoken to was able to respond and say, I'm gonna do both. Actually, I'm gonna cry, but I'm also gonna fight back. I'm also going to take responsibility for my own life and stop blaming mom and dad for what they are or aren't, and start to say, okay, these are the hands that I've been dealt. How will I play? How will I play the game? And that really, really made a huge difference in my life. Just changing the narrative. That was step one.
How old
When
are
it
you?
came to, I was at least, I had to be, we were together from like 18 to 20. I would say I was maybe 20 or 21 at the time,
Okay.
because shortly after I started my nonprofit. You
Ugh,
said what?
there's something about that age because I feel like I had a come to self moment where I was like, oh, I'm responsible for me. Oh,
Yes,
nobody told me I was supposed to be responsible for me. Oh, and
yes,
now parenting. We talked about this before, like reparenting and how do you want to talk to yourself? But that old voice was taught to you by someone else, and that's someone else's voice. So the new
absolutely.
narrative. Okay, so you were saying you got dealt the cards. How do you want to play? I love that because life is all
Yep.
about play.
Yep.
That's all it
I love
is.
that. I love that. It is.
We're playing a game. Everybody's playing a
Yeah.
game. You want to play?
There's
I
a
want to play
book.
like Barbie Malibu, like goes to the mall. That's the game.
Yes. There's a
See,
book called,
like
I think, The Game of Life or something. I'll have to share with you, but he talks about that. He's a
okay.
businessman and he talks about like life is a game. And if you start to see it that way, it kind of helps you to embrace the challenges, the inevitable challenges, a little bit better. Like, it's a part of the game.
Game
I got
about
sent back on
every
board.
yes. The other day, so our first day in the house, I was like, "Oh, is this what everybody's talking about? Home ownership?" Oh, somebody told me the other
Buy
day.
a house, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
He said, "A house is not a home until you have water in the basement." I was like, "So
I don't have a home then.
our first day, all new things, new washer dryer. We were like, okay, great. We got the movers out. We like double mop the floors. We got all the salt, all the dirt up out. We were like, okay, it's like 3 a.m. We're like, let's take a shower. We can make the bed. We'll do a yoga and then we'll like hit it hard in the morning. It's like 4. We're freshly lotioned. We're in our pajamas, in our underwear. We're doing yoga. And the yoga instructor goes, downward facing dog, like water. And I'm like, water water, water, water. The washer and dryer hookup was not connected to the sink. It was just on the ground. And the rest of the house, so the kitchen, all of the water's in the basement, and we're shoveling water in a hole because we didn't have a mop yet, or it was in a box somewhere or something like that. And the old drain was plugged up and the new drain was on a up incline. So we were shoveling, and in the moment I'm like, and this was just like a moment every time I go through challenges, side
Yeah.
quests, I'm always like proud of my mindset, because in that moment I was like, Breezy, rate this pour, because it made like this sound. It was like, because you could hear it filling up the hole. And I was like, that was a 10 out of 10 pour. And he was like, I was like, we can laugh or we can cry. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
Right. Like the challenge is here. How am I gonna, what's my attitude gonna be in the
Right.
midst?
So the whole time I'm pouring water with the snow shovel into a hole in my basement in my underwear on the first day of our beautiful home ownership. And we're like, oh, home ownership, funny. But I'm like, 9 out of 10. That was a 9 out of 10. I was like, that was a 1 out of 10. And it just made it go by so much faster.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this could have been, it was terrible, but I'm like, this could have been horrendous.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, I had like 10 out of 10 pours. That's what I read
Shout
for.
out to you. Shout out to you with your 10 out of 10 pours.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, wow, that was perfect pour. Like perfect pour. But like that is small, but
Yeah.
that is practice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Those are the defining moments of your life when you come to this difficult moment and you can say either it's going to crush me or it's going to stretch me to become this version of myself that I'm supposed to grow into in this moment. And a life is really a series of those things, like a series of those moments.
All the time. All the time.
Yeah.
What you are also a serial entrepreneur. Has it always been? I mean, because you're an author, you're a coach,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
was it always in your mind and in your ministry to do that, or has this been a new revelation for you?
It's so funny that you even say serial entrepreneur because I don't even realize I am, but I very much am.
You are.
I very much am, but I don't consider it. There's this book called The One Thing by Gary Keller that I read a few years ago. It changed my life. And when I was reading that book, I was very clear at that moment that I was only going to train, coach, and speak. So outside of like the passive streams of income I have that I've talked to you about, like that doesn't require me to be hands-on at all.
Yeah.
I only train, coach, and speak.
Mm.
And that's why I feel like I'm not a serial entrepreneur because I'm doing everything under one umbrella and using one gift, which is the transformational coaching that I do. And I deliver it in a few different ways. So it's funny because other people will say that too. Like, you have several businesses. I'm like, I don't feel like I do, which is a good thing. It should feel like that. I'm glad that I have these different avenues. And they do have a few of them do have different LLCs. So I suppose I do. I'm glad I have these different avenues that don't feel overwhelming. Like I'm running so many different things. I feel like everything is very much streamlined in a lot of ways. And I will say also, like I was telling my students the other night, focus on the main thing and then allow that thing to birth more things from it. So when I think about my agency, and the reason why in my mind I only think about it as one thing is because I started out just doing one-on-one coaching. One-on-one coaching ended up being group coaching. I would do cohorts here and there. Then I had a community. So one-on-one coaching turned into group coaching. And then group coaching turned into speaking and workshops. But mind you, I'm still only coaching. It's just growing the audience size. And then that turned into consulting. So now I'm doing the same work for companies. And then people are hiring me to speak, and I'm doing my own speaking engagements. And then so I would say coaching is the main thing I do. I just deliver it several different ways, which helps me in my mind to feel like I'm just doing one thing, which is to help people to transform their lives. I just deliver it several different ways. So it's whether it's the book, a training, a speaking engagement, a workshop, one-on-one coaching, personal or business. It's all just coaching. And
Right.
that kind of keeps me at ease, maybe. So I guess I am a
It's
serial
like you're
entrepreneur.
like, you're growing into it,
Yeah.
the way you explained it, you're like, I started with this and then I did this and then I
Yeah.
did this and then it expanded into that. And I think some people forget the journey that it takes for somebody to get to your
Absolutely.
profession, and they're just like, oh, looking at you like, oh, Lanasia's got it together. She's got this, she's got that, she's got that. And you're like, well, I've been working on this for a long time.
Yes. There are some things that have been happening in my life this year. I have so many great big things to share when I do get back to social media.
Yes.
There are things that have been happening in my life this year that I literally wanted in year one. I remember getting my certification and developing a framework and a program that I'm just now using. And this is another thing about preparation, too. And this is what I tell people, be prepared. The opportunity is already yours. You just have to align with it. So if this is something you want, I don't care. Before I ever had a speech, I had a signature speech. I mean, before anyone ever hired me or called me to speak, I had a signature speech. So when someone finally called, I was like, let's go. I literally developed a framework last year that I just got a call for another company to do executive coaching. This framework was developed last year, and I didn't ask for opportunities because honestly, I just know that it was downloaded into me. I already knew that I wanted to use this personal operating system in companies, but I wasn't really like pitching it. And then an opportunity was presented to me, and I was like, oh, literally, I have the personal operating system. And then another meeting comes along the next day, and it's like, oh, I have this person. So two opportunities in 1 week from something I created months ago. And that's why I always tell people, like, just be in your creative space. If you feel like it's pouring out of you, don't worry so much about how you're going to use it, when you're going to use it, how much you're going to get paid. If you feel like it can really transform someone's life and you really care about transforming people's lives, just write it down. Write that thing down and wait. Watch it come into fruition. There's so many visions that have. I'm going to Ghana this year. This was my vision board from 2 years ago, and I didn't go to Ghana last year, but I'm going this year. And but I put that flag on my vision board
Yep.
on the back of my phone because I was like, I'm going to Ghana.
Right. I don't know. I love that so much, and it just makes me feel more at peace with all the things that I'm doing, because I hear that from a lot of people on my side too. They're like, you do so much, and I'm like, I'm just doing the things that feel right. And like my mom, I love her so much, but she's always worried because I'm her baby. She's like, you're doing all this stuff, you're not making any money, you're waking up early, like you're doing all these videos, you're doing this, you're doing that. And I'm like, I'm not doing it I'm not doing it for a check. Like, it'd be great if a check comes. I was like, I'm doing it for me. And I say this all the time. Like, I was doing Let's Glow show every week because I was like, I want to be speaking. I want to be in front of people. I want to work on this muscle of performing, of being on camera, of getting dressed up, of making people feel comfortable enough to share their story. And then I get a call to co-host Live at the Beat for the week. And I was ready.
That was amazing.
Right. It was just out of the blue. And it was like, are you on a Friday? Are you available on Monday? And had I not been participating in the activity that I wanted to be doing anyway, if I wasn't working out or going to the gym, then I wouldn't have been ready for the sport. But I was ready, And so I love that because I feel like people are always like, oh, you're doing so much, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're learning this, you're learning that, and you're adding to your plate. I'm like, this is my plate, and I'm hungry.
And I'm hungry. Oh my gosh, that just made me so happy. Like, there's a quote that says, opportunity is a haughty goddess that wastes no time with the unprepared. Like, opportunity, once it comes, you got to be ready. Yeah. There is no, oh, you ready for live? Oh, well, wait, I haven't been. I want to prep. No, are you ready? Yes, tomorrow I will be there. And most people don't get paid because they're so worried about a check. And a lot of people will never experience success because they won't work before they get paid. Every single entrepreneur will tell you they're paying to work.
Yes. Yeah.
You're paying for your setup and for your, like, I'm paying to work. But that's how much I believe in this. That's how much I love this. That's how much I want to give, to add value, to share my gifts. And when you are just sharing from your heart, provision is always there. You never have to worry about what you're going to get back. Like,
Right.
it's the frequency you're on of like just wanting to give, wanting to share. And that always comes with a reward.
Hmm. Even
Period.
if the reward is just knowing that you were able to do the thing
Yep.
or releasing it from your body. Because I know, like, I have so many ideas of projects that I hold on to, or the project is so focused on, like, what is the end result? How are we going to make money on it? And it never gets birthed. And it's this weird, like, unreleased feeling in my spirit about this project.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just because the wrong vibrations are there, or the wrong intentions are there. The intention is not to make money on this thing. The intention is
Absolutely.
to do something great. And if you do something great with your whole self, money will come.
Money
You know?
will chase you down more
Yeah.
than you could ever go out and chase after. And honestly, I love that you shared that because, and this is another, and hopefully we can transition into social media after this. I think it's a
No,
perfect
we need
segue
to. We need to.
because everyone is trying so hard. And that's honestly part of the reason why I sat down in the beginning of this year, because I was like, I realized last year, the year before, and the couple years before, I used to pride myself on not working hard because I trusted God that much. I believed that much that I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, that I never overworked myself. And
Mm,
last year, it's like once you start to experience certain levels of success, you start to chase. Like
mm,
all of this came to me, but now I'm starting to chase like it wasn't coming to me. So I felt like I started to chase and I was overworking and getting less. Because I was chasing the opportunities instead of just being the person that attracts them. So a
mm,
part of my new year was just to come in and ground myself so that I can already embody the person who experiences success,
mm,
embody being the person who feels good about my life regardless of any material things. Like I was like, I need to just focus on feeling good, on trusting God, being in step with him, because he is where my abundance is. And I have an assignment. My life has an assignment. And I don't want to be so busy chasing after whatever my agenda is that I miss what my assignment is. And my assignment could be sit in the sauna a little bit longer so that you're able to minister to somebody here because I've experienced that before. You
mm.
know, go to the gas station at this time so you can run into this person. Like our assignment is not just always be on this platform. Our assignment could be, I had an assignment recently where I was at the store and ended up grocery shopping for someone. But if I had been trying to chase my agenda, I would have missed that opportunity and that assignment I had that morning.
Mm.
So I think it's important for us to know like we're already rich, we're already abundant, we're already like all these things we're chasing, they're already in us. But we're so busy running away from ourselves instead of coming into ourselves to get those things.
Mm. I am really grateful that you said that because I feel that like over this, I want to say like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, I felt this like weird pressure to like recap the year, make all of these posts. You know, I went to some great conferences and very focused on social media, which is good. But it was just, I felt this like weird pressure. I'm like, I need to share everything. And if it's not shareable, then I'm failing or I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing or I'm falling back. And I remember like seeing all these Christmas posts and seeing all these New Year's, like, oh, this is my year in review and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't have the energy to go through all of this year to like pull all the pictures to make this post. That was like not part one, but part two was like, dang, I'm not making this post, so nobody's gonna know that I did all this cool stuff this year, and like, and then now I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I look like a failure, and then now I'm thinking that I'm a failure because I didn't make an Instagram post about all the cool shit I did this year, and I'm like, wait,
Yes,
What
that
did you do this year? What? Wait, let me talk to me. Good job. Okay, you
and
know,
that's enough.
right, right.
That is the
Oh,
external validation.
yeah. And then
That is
it's
enough.
weird, like, and I do want to talk about social media with you because I feel like you're one of very few people that I talk to that does like social media breaks, and maybe people just don't talk about it with me, or maybe it just doesn't come up.
Yeah.
But like, you're very vocal about it, and I don't publicize. I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna intentionally take a break. I just
Yeah.
find myself taking breaks, and I'm
Yeah.
getting better and better about like not feeling bad about it. But there is parts of my brain when I'm like not on social media that I'm like, wow, my business is failing because I'm not posting on social media, or people are going to forget about what we're doing.
Yeah.
And this, like, this whole move, this whole holiday, there was still like revamp stuff. Like the revamp is coming up next weekend. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're behind. I haven't been posting. I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to do. And I go and look at the numbers, and we have 400 people registered.
It's crazy. We
Us
got
getting to that number used to take the manpower, like we had to work to get to, like, we hit 400 at our last swap the
yeah.
day of the swap, and we were working the midnight oil to get to that number. And I'm like, we're not doing nothing, we're just existing, and we have 400 people registered with ease. And I
Yeah.
need to just, and there was a moment like I was like meal prepping in the kitchen, and I was talking to Labrie about it, and I was like, wow, we got 400 people registered already. He's like, wow.
That's huge.
And I was like, I feel like I haven't done anything. He's like, you've been doing things for 5 years, Amanda Sweet. I'm like, oh,
That part.
oh,
That's the point. That's the point.
yes,
For
yes,
us, that is literally the point. I made a post in 2019 that said I captured it in my like I'm saving stuff for when I do get back. And I saw a post pop up that said from 2019 that said, I'm not just preparing for a successful 2020, I am preparing for a successful 2025. I was like, this is amazing to see where my mind was. Because opposite of you, I actually feel like I haven't been on social media since December 31st. I didn't do a hey guys, I'm taking a break. I didn't even
yeah,
say nothing. I just made my last post, sayonara. And I
yeah,
put in my bio for people who are looking for services. Be back 122, links below.
yeah,
But I actually am like looking at my roster and I'm like, and I haven't had to make one post. I already have new students enrolled. I just started the new life coach school. I have 17 events already scheduled. I have I put 3 corporate contracts on my board for my yearly goal and I already hit that before the 14th.
I love that.
Before the 14th. And I'm like, I literally prayed for times where I could not have to post my life away just to get a client. I
Right.
did this so that I can do this, so that I can read my Bible, host Bible study with my girls, go have coffee, take a rest, go to the grocery store,
Yeah.
and like watch a podcast,
Yeah.
have a meeting. One thing on my agenda for the day. What's on your agenda for the day? Oh, I'm going to go to the gym, then I'm going to have a speaking engagement, and then I'm going to go home and I'm going to have fruit, and then I'm going to take a nap, and then I'm going to watch
Right.
Netflix. It's going to be such a good day.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
prayed for this because honestly, it's the dopamine addiction I realized I was like, I have a dopamine addiction. And I've been praying that away. Like, I don't want to idolize anything. I don't want anything to be like having control over me emotionally. Like, where I'm like constantly like, some people are like, oh, I hate social media. I'm like, no, social media is like a joy for me, but it's not real. So I want to experience real joy instead of that dopamine hit that makes me feel joyous. And I got to keep going back and back and back. So I realized I had to say, I'm not healthy. If I'm this into my phone, this is not healthy. And I
Mm,
had to say that to myself because we don't want to say hard things to ourselves. We want to be like, well, it's no big deal. No, I'm not healthy because I
right.
should not be driving looking at social media. There's
Mhm.
no way that I want to be like dead.
Over
And
a
they're
phone.
like, how'd
Yeah.
you get here? And I'm like, I was looking at a like on
Right.
my post and
Right.
crashed into a wall.
Right.
Was
Right.
your life worth that like? Like
That
that's
is
how extreme I am in my thinking. I'm like,
no, but that's real because I feel like I had that thought not too long ago. I'm like, because we get the notifications on the phone, we look at it, we look away for a second, then like my husband and I have talked about this. Like, we don't know how it happens. You pick up your phone and then how are you on Instagram? Like, just so quick, so quick. Like,
yes,
it's so fast. Like, I
yes.
look at a text or I get a ding, or weirdly, and I'm like, I'm saying it because I'm like, oh, his phone is like right over there. But like the second we get into bed, his phone will make a ding noise like 10 minutes into being in bed. Not, he doesn't get a text message, it's not a notification, it just dings. And I'm like, what is that? I was like, you gonna go get that? And he was like, it's nothing. And I was like, what do you mean it's nothing? You sure there's not somebody texting you in the middle of the night? He's like, don't do that. It's nothing. I'll show you. But it does it all the time. And it's trying to get his attention, or my light will flash on. And I'm like,
That is crazy. That is
we just need
crazy.
to. So, okay, you're taking a social media break.
Yes.
Why? What is the benefits for you?
Number one, I'm regulating my nervous system. I am, I need to be in control of this system here. And if I ever recognize that something else is controlling me, now granted, I know how to put my phone down. I do use it as a tool. I don't let it use me in the worst ways. I've used social media in the best. I take pride since I had social media. I always had this joking thing. It's two things I'll share. Two things I've never done in my life because I always thought I would be Michelle Obama. I was always very mindful and responsible with my social media, and I never sent nudes, not even to a boyfriend. I'm like, that's something I'm gonna say for my husband. I always just felt like I would be Michelle Obama and nobody's gonna have nudes of me. You're not
Right.
gonna be and but I always have been responsible with my platform, but as far as the content I put out, but I haven't always been responsible with the content that I consume.
Mm,
I find myself looking at things that genuinely should not even be on my radar. And it's not like super bad, but even just like looking at celebrities and what they're doing. And now I'm in like, what's going on with P. Diddy? I don't care. I should not care. I
right.
should not be following the P. Diddy story. I
Right.
should not. So I find myself just caring about things that are meaningless.
Yeah.
And I have such a responsibility with my life. And I should be doing things that help me, that heal me. And, if I can listen to a podcast, that like expands my mind or
Mm.
even makes me laugh, it's nothing wrong with things that make you laugh, but like
Yeah.
things that literally just take your attention, but you don't actually benefit from it. That's my main issue with social media is I find myself like I literally see the craziest things on my explore page, like someone eating crazy food or like it literally is just like time consuming trash.
Right.
So
Right.
that's really my biggest thing is that your attention is so expensive.
Mm.
My attention is so expensive. And I
Mm.
can't just be wasting it on frivolous things. I
Right.
value my attention. I value my focus. I value, my mind, my heart, and I got to take care of it. And honestly, the content that I consume, it's either making me sick or making me well. There's no such thing as neutrality. And with social media, you can't really control it a lot of times. You'll scroll into a
Into
place
it.
where you had
Yeah.
no business. I watched a lady with a wood board on her belly. Like, why am I watching this? It's doing nothing for me, but now I'm in the wood board community watching all the people
You're
get
going to ask
ass.
yourself. Yeah. You're like,
Uh,
I need to go to Home Depot right now. Like,
yeah. Number one, it keeps me, helps me to remain focused. It
yeah.
lowers my anxiety because even putting the phone down, I have that anxiety still. I'm like disrupted. Um,
Speaking of disrupted,
right.
hold on. Keep
What?
going. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. But yeah, I
Okay.
find myself being just disrupted in
Yeah.
my emotional state. I find myself feeling anxious, wasting time. I'll get home and I park and I'm scrolling instead of like getting
Get-
home and in the beginning of your day, I know when I get back, I'm not touching my phone until like 10 o'clock because my entire morning should not be filled with any thoughts that I did not choose or need to give attention to or got from this very specific piece of content that I chose. When you get on social media, you're opening yourself up to all kinds of stuff. I mean, I've seen news stories that just made my heart heavy. So now it's early in the morning and I'm like sad because
yeah.
I saw what happened to this girl or this. And it's like, yes, I should grieve for these people, but there's a time for everything. And now is not the time. This morning is the time to hear from God,
Mhm.
to get on my square so that I'm healthy for myself and everybody else that I come in contact with for the day.
That's so real. I think like it's so easy to, well, because you see one story, feel it, and then the algorithm's like, here's another one, and
Yep.
another one, and another one, and another one, and suddenly you're grieving for thousands of people that you don't know. When
Yes.
like your friend is texting you on another in another platform talking about some real stuff that's
Yes.
either great or you need to have space for them.
Yep.
You just don't got any space left, like
Absolutely.
spiritually, emotionally, like mentally. But that's so real. That is like a huge thing. I was on
Yeah.
my amazing friends, the Property Sisters of Michigan. I was on their show a week ago, a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about that. Like, what are your like New Year's resolutions? And I was like, I feel like I just want to detach from my phone a little bit. And I remember when I first started doing the Let's Glow show, somebody was like, long form content's not in. And I was like, I'm not doing it for you. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not doing it for them. I'm not doing it for so and so. I'm doing this for me. I was like,
Uh-huh.
if this is for anybody, it's for me to connect with someone else and create a platform for the people that want this, but also
Mhm.
like a form of expression for me and the person on the other side of the camera. Because at the
Yep.
end of the day, like this is for us. And I get to walk away from this conversation feeling like if I did nothing else but like get to connect with Lanasia, that's a win.
Yes.
A win. It's a win, but it's not like I'm doing this for social media content. Like I'm doing it for my larger vision, which is to be like
Yes.
speaking and talking and having my own TV show. But it's part of social media, which is this is the catch 22. I'm like, I have a social media platform and I have a show that is
Yeah.
required to be on social media for me to put it out. But again, like you said, it's a tool. It's a tool, and this part is easy to accomplish. And I don't have to sit and scroll after I post it. But I find myself doing it.
That part.
Yeah.
Create more than you consume. And that's like the rule for life. And a lot of people are going towards longer form content. I think we're all feeling that burnout, that exhaustion, that um anxiety's up, depression's up, and then also people are, since quarantine, myself included, definitely getting back into making real connections. I felt like I ran so much of my business on social media after quarantine, which was a blessing. It was a huge blessing. But now, I think we're all longing for that real connection. We're realizing this isn't real connection. I'm connected to 1,000 people, but I'm not actually connected to anyone. And
Right.
I'm recognizing I'm much more connected when I'm off social media. I have great friends, I have great family. I go to real networking events. I made it my business to go to a minimum of 2 networking events a month. So I'm building these real relationships, and real business comes from being in
Yes.
the room and shaking someone's hand a lot faster than it does when you got to make 100 posts to make business on social media, where you
Yeah.
can literally shake the right hand and it turns into an opportunity. So I'm game for getting back out here in the real world. All day.
And we have to remember that this is a tool. And you made me think like I don't know how many people that watch your show actually realize that the people I interview are real people.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're real people. Just hit
Yeah.
us up. Respond in the like I know that sounds so cliche, but in the comments, if you were like, "Can you connect me to Lanasia?" I'd be like, "Hell yeah!" And I'll send that email like
Yes.
immediately. And then next thing you know, you could be in person having a coffee talking about a coaching class,
That
right? Like that is what you should be doing.
it
You should
happens so effortlessly.
slide into the DMs, do the thing, and be like, "Hey, I
Yeah.
watched your content. It was great. Are you open to having a call? Are you open to
Yeah.
meeting up? Are you open to a one-on-one?" And then that's where the magic happens. The magic doesn't happen on the in the phone. The
No,
magic is it happens like with that like gut reaction to be like, I want to talk to this person and then do it. My husband
absolutely.
who's sitting right over there,
Absolutely.
this was before DMs existed. Saw him at a party. I was like, wow, this man is beautiful. And didn't have the courage to say anything, which is weird because I'll talk to anybody. I found him on Instagram. I did a little, like, I did a little, like, oh, this, okay, yeah, all right, found
Yeah,
him.
women are Inspector Gadget when we want.
Like every single post and was like, say something next time you see me in public.
I love
And guess
it.
what he did
I love it. You
9 years
like
later?
you with your juice though. You like
I was like, I saw you. I saw you seeing me. Why don't you?
I love it.
But like, and then
Let me
get
go work my magic. Let me get in the DMs. No,
exactly. Let me get in the DMs before the DMs exist.
I am not.
It's the goal is to get
I
out of the
know. I know.
phone, get into the world. You
Get
know?
into the world, please. It's a facade. Social media is a facade, and even like you said, the connections you make online, they have to go offline to become real.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be real online. All that like it takes nothing for someone to that they're doing that to everybody.
Yeah.
That does not make y'all friends.
Right.
And I had to learn that for myself. Even I used to feel like some type of way, when I be like, they're all like engaging with me on social media, but like when we see, and it's like,
Yeah.
those are not your friends.
How do you release the like the need for like social validation? How did you
Oh
release
my
it?
gosh, validating myself, finding number one, knowing who I am in Christ. I am a believer, so very bold about that. Knowing who I am in God's eyes helps me, but also like meditating on that and knowing like I am already loved by people before I was life coach Lanasia, before I was author Lanasia, before any of those things. When I had nothing, there were people that loved me. And I think about those people first. Like, okay, I got aunties that love me, cousins that love me, mom, dad. Like, I have people that love me if I have nothing. So that's number one. And then I mean, I have such beautiful, amazing friends. One thing I can say is like the friends I have, we do not have superficial relationships. I don't anyone who I call a friend is a friend. I don't have a lot of like I have acquaintances that I love, but I'm saying like my friends, all of my friends are like sisters. So
Yeah.
like I have rich relationships in my life that weren't chosen because like you're popular or it was they were chosen because we were divinely connected and we stayed connected because we were supposed to be in each other's lives. So that's what helps me. And then putting the phone down to get into the real world. When I'm in my real house,
Yeah.
I have my real car, I go to the real gym, having real activities, like being in a real run club, like all those things and doing hard things helps to validate me too. Like I'm always pushing myself and, like writing goals down and then them coming to life, like that validates me. Like all those things validate me, like having these visions, knowing like I have this beautiful mind and I had this thought and then it became this real thing, like that's what validates me. So yeah, definitely having establishing my identity in real things,
Okay.
not digital world thing, not fleeting things, things
Yes.
that are more, like long term, like
Yeah.
mind and my heart and my beliefs. Like validate yourself in those things that really won't change as much. Uh, because that's going to help you when other people don't accept you. As an entrepreneur, I get a lot of rejection as this bold, vibrant person. Some people just don't like me before they even met me. But I gotta like me. I gotta like me. So me liking me helps me to deal better with other people not liking me.
Love it. And it's real because like if you're this all goes to mindset. If you're so used to talking down to yourself, like
Mhm.
how are you ever gonna teach other people how to treat you correctly? You gotta
Absolutely.
work on that. And I share a lot. Like I remember the first time I looked at myself and was like, I love you. It was
Yeah.
impactful. It also felt weird. It's like any
Yeah.
other relationship that you have to work at to make it successful. And you got to work at your relationship with yourself to make it successful. And you have to practice those things. So, like, some of the things that I love to do is like every time I look in a mirror, I'm like, hey, you look cute.
Oh, I love that.
Like, just acknowledging that, because, like, even like with the move, we didn't have any mirrors up or anything. And I was like, wow, I haven't looked at myself in like days, which is
Wow.
weird. Not
Yeah.
weird, but like it's like something I noticed. And I was like in the bathroom and I like looked up in the mirror and I was like, hey, like
I
I smile.
love that. I'm
And,
gonna do
like,
that today.
but it was like I was like hustling so much and we were just in the work, we're unpacking, packing, and I forgot about that practice. So now that like I'm like, and that takes presence, right? You have to be present with
Yes.
yourself. You have to be slow enough to be able to look up and say, "Hi, I love you. You look
I
great."
love
Like, "I love you.
that.
You look great." And that little second turns into, I want to go to the gym." And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
little second turns into, I'm going to the gym, and then actually taking yourself there. And those little, like, going to the real life gym or going to the real life class or going to the real life thing, it's all the little practices, like the acknowledgement of the want and desire, the
Mhm.
acknowledgement of like doing the research to find the right one for you, to go
Yes.
and try something different. It's hard, but like all of those little actions turn into big things, and you should be celebrating. Like if you go to the physical gym or even if you do a workout in your house, like the fact that you had an idea and did it
Yes.
is
That's
huge,
validating.
and you should celebrate that.
It's
Like, celebrate
validating.
all the little things. That's the big thing for me. I'm like, "I did it. I did it
Yes.
with
Yes.
everything. I did it," because if I don't do that for me, nobody's gonna do that for me,
Yep.
because, like,
And if they do, it'll be your rise and your fall. So if they're the reason for your confidence, they'll be the reason for your insecurities.
ooh,
And you got to be very clear about that. Like if you're the reason I feel good about me, then you're also going to be the reason I feel bad about me.
interesting. I
Yeah.
like it's gotta be here, but that takes practice and time and
Yeah.
patience and an allowing. So if you're out there and you are not comfortable with your relationship with yourself, my thing is always like date yourself. Ask yourself, like,
Yeah.
where do you want to go to date?
Yeah.
And take yourself there. Like, start slow. Start slow. Even if it's just looking in the mirror and being like, hi,
Yeah.
how are you?
Seriously. Not critiquing yourself because some people are just, and I've been guilty of it, especially going to the gym sometimes, having body dysmorphia. I look fantastic. And I'm always like, I find myself sometimes like, okay, I'm a little too big, I'm a little too small. It's like, actually, you look perfect.
You just like look
Your
and
blouse
acknowledge. We
today,
look,
you look perfect.
judge. We look and we don't judge. We don't judge. Like that is the new I turned 35 and I went, I'm like, I went to the doctor. I saw the size, the pounds on the scale go up a little bit from the last time I was there. I went and bought a scale and I was like, what did I do that for?
Why you
Let
do that for?
me think of what I did that for. Did I do it for the right reasons or do it for the wrong reasons?
Yeah,
And it's still in a box. And I'm like,
for
if
you.
the only time I'm going to open this box is if I have the right intentions for the scale.
Yeah, good for you.
If the
I
intentions
love
are incorrect, we are not going to open that thing and
I
put it
love
in in something in a place for me to see every day. But what I did do is put a full length mirror right in front of my shower, so I can
Yeah,
look at my body and be like, "Hey, what's up?
yeah.
You look good," and give some love into the spaces that are like
Absolutely.
taboo to love. if they don't look a certain way. So
I love
that's
that.
practice
That's
that.
powerful. And the more you love your body, the more it loves you. If
Mhm.
you're nice and kind to your body, it'll be nice and kind to you. So it's important. It's a relationship.
Yes.
So you definitely want to, treat yourself the way that you would want somebody else to treat you or
But if
talk
you
to
don't know that, then how could you possibly let
you.
somebody else treat you any kind of way? If you
Yeah,
don't know if you don't know what you want, you got to give it to yourself first. I love that.
absolutely.
An hour, like just
I know.
flies by
I
every
know.
single
I
time.
know.
Every single time. Okay, before we go, two quick questions. One,
Yes.
where can everybody find you? Sign up for your classes, read your book, all the things. Give us all the goodies.
Yeah, you can visit. Honestly, everything's like a one-stop shop right now. You can visit LanasiaAngelina.com, whether you want to be navigated to Life Coach University online. You can find that from that page. Book me for speaking, for coaching, panels, keynotes, workshops, all the things. Personal and business coaching, I offer that as well, one-on-one. So yeah, just reach out, find me on social media, Lanasia Angelina across all platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, hopefully TikTok. Hopefully it won't change. But yeah, visit my site, LanasiaAngelina.com, and I'd be more than happy to connect and support you, or, show you the way to other resources if I'm not the one.
She's a real human. Talk to her offline.
Yeah.
Talk to her offline. It
I'm
gets
like,
better. Promise
oh,
it gets better.
yes,
If you watch any of the shows and you're like, oh my gosh, this person's awesome,
yes,
hit him up or hit
yes,
me up because they will happily connect. And when I tell you
absolutely.
the energy that Lanasia has when she walks into a room and when you talk to her in person, it's infectious, it's amazing, it's effervescent, it's beautiful. Like, oh,
Oh,
yes,
I
chef's
love you. I love same, same, same. That's why we're here. That's why we
yeah,
connected though, because
exactly.
you're definitely on the same like vibration as I am. Like you're always positive. We all go through things in life, but the way
Yeah.
you're showing up in the world is something to really admire and take note of and follow suit, because you're definitely a leader and you're a powerhouse. So I'm grateful to be connected to you. I love you for real.
I love you too. I feel the same way. It's so good. Okay. What is my last question for
Yeah.
you? One last piece of advice for our
Okay.
beautiful listeners.
There's a quote by Brene Brown that I want to share. It's my favorite quote. It's from the book The Power of Vulnerability. And the quote is, "Don't shrink, don't puff up, just stand your sacred ground." That is a quote that I use every time I go to speak, every time I go into a meeting, every time I go into a room that calls me to a higher version of myself. And I might feel like an imposter, or I might feel like I need to do too much, or always remind myself, I'm enough. I'm enough. I'm valued. Stand on your square. The room doesn't have what you have, and that's what you're there to add. So always, don't compare yourself to anyone else. Every unique thing about you, we can all refine, we can all develop our skill set, we can all sharpen the tools in the toolbox, but be yourself. You're enough.
I needed to hear that. It's
Oh,
always what I need to hear. And I think you being the first interview of the year is not an accident. It's not an accident.
yeah,
It's
I
very
know.
purposeful. I am so grateful for you. I'm so excited for your year. I'm excited to be in your world and just to be able to be creating at the same time as you are.
Yeah.
Like, it's a beautiful thing. I love you. I adore you. I'm so proud of you. Like,
Ooh, I'm
oh,
really proud of you. We got work to do. I can't wait to work with you too. My goal is definitely to be able to collab with you soon. I mean, we just did it.
did
Uh,
it. We just did it.
do it
But like on a big
again.
scale. Yes.
So
Um,
I really am, putting it in the atmosphere that an opportunity presents itself, whether it's something I do or you do, whatever it is, we're going to be collabing
oh
more.
yeah, it's happening. It's
Yes,
happening this year.
yes. Let's. I love you. Have the most beautiful day.
You too. Thank you all so much. Again, we are so grateful for you. We love that you're here. Your presence and you watching this also makes this that much more special. So thank you for everything that you do and for being you and being in the world around us. If you want to meet us in real life, we're going to be in person on January 25th at the Big Pink for the next Clothing Swap Festival, the first one of the year. So clean out your closets, purge all that stuff that you don't like, and come to the swap and get a whole bunch of new stuff for just $20 to fill a bag. So we're going to be downtown Detroit at the Big Pink, January 25th from 12 to 5. We hope to see you there. Again, it's Amanda Sweet, and this is the Let's Glow Show, and we talk to creative entrepreneurs every single week. This week we had Lanasia, and we'll be back next week with another amazing guest. And you guys have a great rest of your week. We'll see you later.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.